Okay, class changes. We have Dragonite here. Ardent Flame. Basically, that's what's happening to Dragonites is they're becoming the power source for poison damage. Now, DKs have always been strong with flame damage, and during the start of the game, flame damage was kind of kind of stronger than the other elements, and classes really didn't have elemental damage other than Sorks having shock. But right at the start of the game, everybody used Destro. It was Elder Stabs Online, everybody called it, and so DKs were the king of Destros, and they were the king of Siege because a lot of stronger Siege was fire damage related, and their passive skilled on it. I think they fixed the passive for DKs affecting Siege damage, but generally a DK with the fire staff is dangerous. They've fallen off since, so now they're becoming poison damage related. I'm really scared that this new update's gonna affect um, is gonna scale really well with them, and they're gonna just become the power source of poison damage for who knows how long. Good for them. DKs need some kind of changes, some kind of flavor to spice them up again, because flame damage isn't that scary anymore. CP and everything made that go to shit. But DKs like Templars have very good utility, and they need to be more oriented around their utility since they do lack the mobility and damage in some respect compared to other classes. So we see morph changes. Nothing. The damage doesn't change. The ability doesn't change. They just change the type of damage. So instead of flame, we're seeing poison. I think instead of physical somewhere, we're seeing poison as well. So they have their fire breath, unstable flame, basically stamina morphs go poison. I think that's what they're doing here. And the passive that increases flame damage also increases poison damage. Oh, sorry, this is the passive. Yep. So that's about it with Ardent Flame. It's gonna be now Ardent Flame and I don't know, Ardent Flame and poison damage. Okay, so Thin Heart, Corrosive Armor, deals poison damage. Yep. Okay, so Fossilize, I don't know, like, fuck this spell, man, I hate this spell. It's not as abused anymore, because I guess nobody plays DK, but, okay, they're reducing the duration of the root by to 3 seconds instead of 4 at max rank. I mean, it's not really a big nerf compared to rank 1, but whatever. The duration, this root's a pretty strong effect. I mean, put it on a Magicka build, they're not gonna be dodge rolling every time they CC break the Fossilize. So usually what people do is they don't CC break the Fossilize and pray to God they get the immunity, which doesn't happen all the time, unfortunately. And then they don't have the stamina to CC break the 3-second root. So I don't know, this spell's crazy. It's gonna deal more damage. It deals no damage right now, like 1,000 or less damage, but this spell really doesn't need to deal damage. It has like the longest stun in the game. It has the longest root. I think Talons surpasses it by half a second. And it's just a fucking amazing spell. You can cast it on people who are dodge roll. I don't know. I just get rid of that spell. I mean, give them something else, please. I might be biased here, but I've played DK, I've played Stam DK, I've played Magic DK. It's a really nice spell to have, but it just doesn't have any place in the DK loadout. Earth and Heart is supposed to orient them around survivability, and this doesn't really fit the Earth and Heart description. It's a really nice spell, though. I mean, don't remove it, but at least put something better in its place. In addition to the changes made to the base ability, we also increased the damage. Okay. I want to see Fragment Shield busting. Does that make sense? I want to see Fragment Shield in its prime, like it used to be, where one guy would just smash Fragment Shields, his Zerg would run into the other Zerg, and the other Zerg would just absolutely get blown up. Like a Blazing Shield, 30,000 damage stacked blown up back when that Blazing Shield was broken. I've seen some amazing things done with Fragmented Shield in group play. I want to see that again, so Proxy Debt isn't so predominant. I want to see some kind of flavor added to the current Cyrodiil large group meta. Reduce the duration. Okay. So shields in general got nerfed in durations to something similar to Healing Ward. So we're gonna see a lot of 8 second durations on shields, which is nice. It's gonna allow us to time our burst to when people's shields expires. Because if you go look at Sorks, they have like 50k shields, and they expire in 15 to 20 seconds, which is disgusting. It's sort of a nerf, but I mean, at the same time, yeah, you know what? It is a nice nerf. Sorks are gonna be casting shields 70% more often than doing DPS. It's gonna allow it's a huge nerf to sorcerer DPS. I mean, sorcerers right now, they just put their shields on and they just go all out on you. That light attack, crushing shock animation cancel, pummeling you with frags whenever you're standing still. The curse dot. They just have a lot of aggression. They're like I see them as Sorks as a tower right now. They have so much aggression where they could just launch cannons at you, for example. And then when you go to hit them, they don't have to move and they don't die. They could just sit in their mines, for example. They're a tower in their mines. So tanky when they can commit so much to damage in terms of magical spell damage. It just doesn't make sense. So by not nerfing the shields in the sense that in the sense of their size, but reducing the duration, that's gonna allow us to beat on them more often because they're gonna be DPSing. They're not gonna be DPSing as often, if that makes sense. Hopefully this this review is gonna be clear. So incapacitating strike, it's gonna be a stun from now on. Doesn't matter if you have less health, which is nice. Night Blades are gonna be a little bit more disease damage oriented. I think that's gonna count as minor defile, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to need to test that to see if the disease damage actually applies to the disease debuff. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully this is a buff to Night Blades where magic damage isn't their predominant damage source for everything. You know what I mean? So spell resistance doesn't reduce disease damage, for example. I'm fairly certain that's how it's working. So CP will play a big part in reducing Nightblade damage, but it's not going to be all oriented around spell resist and CP at the same time. So fix an issue with damage over time. Okay, so they're just making visual effects better and fixing that spell from reducing, taking people out of cloak. Okay, so more disease damage. A lot of disease changes, similar to DK poison changes. Okay, you can't cloak meteors anymore. So that's really nice. Well, you can, but the meteor will land in your spot, and it might actually follow you. I'd like to test that actually to see if the meteor actually gives away Nightblade's location as he cloaks away. That'd be really cool. So again, Sork alt, suppression field, negate, whatever you'd like to call it. It is sexy right now. One morph heals you. I'm going to find out how much it heals. And it stuns enemies. It doesn't, not just NPCs, which is fantastic. Silencing them as well, which we learned about before. The other morph now damage. Oh, the other morph damages enemies. I'd really like to see how much it damages enemies. I'm gonna start playing Sork. I read the patch notes. I'm gonna start playing Sork this update. I haven't played it in like nearly a year. Ever since I stopped playing Sork when they released Imperial City, I think it was, when they took away soft caps. Sorks became too OP. They went from being the shittiest class to the most OP class with the removal of soft caps. Because like I said before, you could stack everything to mana, stack everything to spell damage, and you become this tower of 30,000 to 50,000 point shields with crazy amount of damage. I think the shields aren't that OP anymore since they changed the Cyrodiil passive to reduce shields, healing, and all that fun stuff. So they're less OP in that sense, but I mean, they still hold that mentality of just being a tower in their minefield who could just blow you up. So I like the shield changes. It's adding skill based, a little bit of skill to the sorcerer, and I like the alt changes. Okay, so they add physical resistance to pets. Okay, and spell resistance. Bound armor changes the period. Okay, so bound armor isn't like that ugly ass looking plate armor anymore. Well, I mean, it looked cool at first, but now it's just annoying. So that they changed it to just a buff effect, brief visual effect, which is toggled on. Okay, that's cool. Again, shields got nerfed. Empowering ward does have a 2-second longer duration. I think that's the one that gives you minor mending. I'm not sure. Again, I'm gonna go start playing sorcerer again. You guys are gonna see some insanely good sorcerer PvP. Redesign this passes. Okay, sweet. Sorcerers are gonna get more max health. Sorcerers have really nice passes to reduce their stats. I mean, they have the stamina regen passive. They have the spell damage. increased passive, and now they have a max health increased passive in place of the health recovery. Before, if you had a Daedric spell slotted, that you got health recovery, which is garbage, but now it's given to your pet, which is whatever, but at least you get more health. When a Daedric spell summoning pet active. Oh, okay. You only get health when you have a pet active. This probably counts your Atronachs and might even count for Engine Guardian. The game doesn't register pets, and player casted pets and sets, pet sets, like the Engine Guardian set differently. So you might see the same health buff whenever your Engine Guardian's out, but they're both temporary. Your Atronach and your Engine Guardian. So this passive is actually not as sexy as I thought it would be, but you know, it's interesting. It's something worth looking at. Okay, so Stormcalling Thunder Presence. I think this is the stamina morph of Lightning Armor. This morph is now called Hurricane. This fucking spell increases its damage up to 225% and the size. You become literally a moving hurricane, and I think this is cool. This might be garbage because the damage wasn't impressive before, but this is an interesting change, and it might mean something for Stamsworks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the stamina morph. I hope it is. But I'm gonna go try that out and see how it is. Physical damage instead of shock damage. That's cool. It'll get stronger with Mighty if this is the stamina morph. And not sure if shock damage even follows spell resist, similar to disease damage. I think it does, actually. I think it does. And if not, again, CP reduces it. But physical damage will scale with your physical penetration. So this spell will do more damage overall. So this is looking promising. Okay, I've mained Templar for quite some time now. You know, I've liked it before, but it's amazing now. These are some sexy changes we're seeing to Templars. Okay, so this ability now, Adrix Spear, this ability now deals physical damage or magic damage based on whether you have spell damage. Okay, that's cool. I thought it already did this, but okay, that's cool. That we're gonna see Burning Light doing more damage on stamina builds. So beware of the jabs. I mean, this might be really good. People might drop Wrecking Blow and just spam jabs now, and you know, Burning Light might do enough damage that it'll surpass the DPS of Wrecking Blow spam. I just want to see that spell less abused, in my opinion. It has its place. It's a really good spell. I use it on my stamina character. It just doesn't add a lot of skill value to the game, unless you're 1vxing with it, and then maybe you have to like be careful when you cast Wrecking Blow. But I just want to see a little bit more of an interactive spell, something that doesn't hit you from a mile away, and you know, doesn't blow people up as easily. I don't know. I just want to see a little bit more dynamic and skill put into this game, and it's not terrible right now. It's fine. Okay, so for Restoring Light, some great things going on here, guys. This ability now also removes 2 harmful effects. That's whatever. I mean, if it's not morphed, then get it morphed. This ability's fantastic. Increased duration. Okay, nobody really uses Extended Ritual because you don't really stand in it for the whole duration unless you're doing something wrong. Generally, you want to spam this spell to get your debuffs gone. So that doesn't mean waiting 22 seconds for it to... Oh, 24 seconds for it to expire. Focused Healing. Rename the spell to Sacred Grounds, because this motherfucking ability. Okay, so now it applies movement speed debuff, which means we can kite better when we're standing in our Ritual, Rune Focus, Rite of Passage. I think that's our ultimate. So your Rune Focus and your Cleansing Ritual slow people. This is really, really nice. Yeah, we don't have Major Expedition in our tool kits, in our spell setups. That's the right word I want to use. Yeah, spell setups. But we can drop, you know, our huge ass Cleansing Ritual AoE and just kite enemies. This is going to be fantastic for 1vxing, and you're trying to just get some line of sight. This will buy you time. You can just drop Purifying Rituals and get behind that line of sight instead of like turtling your way there. I currently use Speed Pots. They are fantastic. Immovable, plus Major Expedition, which lasts like 40 seconds, and I think it gives stamina too, my potion. So I use those pots a lot now, and I don't have problems with mobility since I'm like 30% faster for 40 seconds, but those pots can be costly, and this is just a really nice change we needed to see. Okay, so Purifying Ritual, rename this morph to Ritual of Retribution. In addition, we did redesign this morph so it now damages enemies in its area effect. Okay, what the shit? So we're gonna see some dot damage from our healing spell. I hope to God this doesn't stack. You know what? I think this should stack. I want to see like a group of 5 Templars just drop their AoE, heal over time, and just melt Zergs who run in. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I was joking about that comment, by the way. You can stack everything into healing. You can be the most healing-oriented healer. Resto Staff, everything into healing CP, the quick recovery and the blessed, and then everything into mana and spell damage or something like that. I don't know. Most healers run high regen, and then your heals will actually do insane amount of dot damage. I want this spell to be changed. I don't think it should damage enemies, but at the same time, like, people can stack healing springs, and that's bullshit too. Nothing's more annoying when you have, like, when you're 1vxing, you're even doing small group, and you're fighting just a larger group of people, and they can just healing spring spam, just mashing healing springs, and then mitigate all your damage. I don't know. Stacking healing is a little bit ridiculous in this game, and I guess this is to combat it. But we'll see. We'll see how effective this is. Again, Stam morphs will, Templars will also be able to use this spell. I just won't hit as hard, but we'll see how it works. Ability can no longer heal allies through walls. Oh, thank God. I forgot about this actually. Rush Ceremony can no longer be spammed through line of sight. Guys, this is game changing. Templar heals 2 OP. Just kite your enemies to line of sight so that the healer can't, you know, cast through walls, and you win. This is skill-based PvP right here, guys. You have to actually be relatively sensible with what you're doing. You know, you can't just mash shields, otherwise no one's gonna get them. If you're on the first floor of a tower and they're on the second or third, you know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. This is ZenMax. You just fucking high five you right now. Donate you $100 or whatever pleb money you want from me. I'm broke, but this is what we need to see, stuff like this.